Hey everyone, Amanda here at Unwind Yoga Flow. We're about to head into a 30-minute practice that's about beginning at your beginning. So when you're ready, let's get started. You won't need any props for today's class unless you like to use a blanket to offer yourself a little bit more comfort, especially in poses like a low lunge. When you're ready, make your way to lie down on your back here. Legs can be bent or extended all the way. If they're extended all the way, give them a nice little shake there, releasing the tension from the low back as much as possible here. I'm going to keep my knees bent as we start here, just offering myself a little bit more of that support. From here, we'll start to tap into our breath, drawing the breath in through the nose on our inhale. Exhale, release the breath out through the nose. Continue moving here on your own breath, breathing in and out. Sometimes it's helpful to soften the eyes or even close the eyes to really tune into our breath. The purpose of our class today is to begin. So this is a great practice for the morning, really setting an intention for how you'd like to start your day. Offering yourself that little bit of extra grace, patience, and support as you need it. Remembering that your breath is always here for you. If you need to take a pause at any point in this practice or as you move away from your mat and into the day. Take another breath in. Exhale, release. And then from here, start to wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, circle wrists. Maybe move through the ankles, move the heels a little bit side to side, move the knees, move the elbows, start to wake up the body. And then when you're ready, take your inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. If the legs are extended, reach to the toes, but if the knees are bent, just keep them on the floor and notice the upper body reaching up and out through the hips. As you exhale here, draw the right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers along your right shin here. And then gently using the weight of the arms to draw the knee a little bit closer in towards the chest, but we're not forcing anything. Remember, we're just at our beginning here. And then you can choose to keep the left foot on the floor, knee bent, or extend the left leg all the way. Really feel the weight of the left heel on the floor and use that as a counterbalance to draw the right knee a little bit closer in towards the chest. Flex the toes here. Take another breath in. Exhale, soften in here. From there, we'll start to integrate a little bit of movement here. So starting to make circles with our right knee, circling in one direction. Maybe changing directions. And if it makes sense for you, you can keep this movement a little bit smaller, maybe just turning it into a side to side. And especially for me in the morning, I like to pause for a moment when I cross the knee over to the opposite side of the body, get that little twist sensation. And it might feel good for you to accentuate this as you take the knee away from the body here, getting a little bit more opening in the hip. Wherever you are, take one more full cycle of breath and we'll meet back here, knee to chest. On that next breath, we'll switch sides. So go slowly here, left foot to floor, right foot to floor, release it. Notice this subtle difference, right side, left side. And then we'll hug that left knee in towards the chest. Once again, take your time, use your inhale. And then exhale, noticing the weight of the arms. From there, once again, option to extend your right leg all the way long, using the weight of your right leg to create a little bit more space to draw the left knee in towards the chest. From there, we'll start to integrate that movement. So maybe starting off, knee moves gently side to side, right to left. Or maybe starting to make some circles. Making this movement your own here. So wherever you're starting at this morning, whatever space you have available to you, using that space and not necessarily wishing for any more, just enjoying what's already there for you. Take that next breath to draw the knee back in towards the chest. And then we'll make our way out of our pose. So both feet come down onto the floor. Once again, let's take the arms up and overhead. Get a great big morning stretch there. Noticing subtle changes in our lower body. From there, both knees hug in towards the chest. Gently wrap the arms around the legs. Take a little sway here, feeling that change of pressure on the low back as you make circles. And then let's roll over onto one side. As we roll over here, gently rest for a moment. And then take your time here. Press yourself up and we'll meet in a child's pose here. The knees don't have to be super wide because we won't be here for long, but just making your way onto hands and knees and then gently resting the hips back towards the heels. Soften the head down towards the floor. Now we will be on our knees for a little bit in this sequence. So right now, if you'd like to grab that blanket for underneath the knees, now is your chance. We're going to turn this into a bit of a flow here. So as we inhale, let's rise up into our tabletop pose. And this is where I'd like for you to connect into the palms here, really feeling like you're tapping in as the hands connect down into the floor. Starting to move into our cat and cow here. So as we inhale, drop the belly towards the floor, bring the chest to the arms and look up. Exhale, round the spine, press the floor away, arch the back here, and maybe look in between the knees. Take this a couple more times. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press and round. Starting to match our movement to our breath here. So as we inhale, come forward. Exhale, press and round. Take one more inhale. Exhale, press the mat away. And then sink it back into your child's pose here. Feel the stretch in the upper body here as you sink the hips back down towards the floor. Maybe dropping the head in between the arms. Does not have to reach the floor. From here, we're going to make this into a bit of a larger movement. So take a breath in. Exhale. Take a breath in. Preparing to move here on the exhale, rise back up into that tabletop pose, and then use your inhale, crawl the fingers back, and then sweep the arms up towards the ceiling, reach up. Take your exhale, float the hands back down to the floor, slide them out into your tabletop, and then one cat-cow. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press and round. Bottom of your exhale, hips sink back towards the heels, drop the head down. Take a breath in. As you exhale, float back up here, tabletop pose, using the inhale to rise the arms back up, big reach here. Exhale, flow the hands down towards the floor, slide them out, one cat-cow. Inhale, come forward, exhale, round. Bottom of your exhale, child's pose here, hips sink back towards the heels, drop the head. Last round, take an inhale, exhale, lifts you all the way up. And then inhale, rise, reach up, arms lift. Exhale, hands float down towards the floor, slide the arms out. One cat-cow, inhale. Exhale, slide back, child's pose here. Drop the head down, take a breath. Noticing subtle changes in activity in the body as we start to link movement to breath and integrate some larger movements. From here, rise back up, tabletop pose, and then option to stay in a tabletop or tuck the toes under. Start to sink the hips back here, and notice as you sink the hips back, weight pours into the fingertips here. Once again, tapping into the strength of the arms, and then stay here or downward facing dog. Hips lift up and back. taking a few breaths here to walk out your downward facing dog. Bend one heel, bend one knee, and then the other. Dropping the heels side to side, feeling the hips move, allowing this to be a little bit more fluid here. So once again, beginning at our beginning, noticing what your downward facing dog feels like today. Might be your first one of the day, maybe your first one in a long time. So sort of forgetting what the pose should look like or feel like, just notice what it feels like today. As you come back towards stillness here, soften the knees here to lift the hips up. Feel the chest pressing in between the arms. Stay here for a full cycle of your breath. And then inhale, walk the feet slowly up towards the hands. Take your time. Keep a soft bend in the knees here as you come towards a forward fold. Sometimes there's nothing I love more than a forward fold in the morning. Let the head go here, making sure we're not looking anywhere unnecessarily. And then from here, float the hands towards the shins, and then feel the hands press into the legs, and use that little bit of energy for your half lift. So lengthen the spine here, reach the crown of the head away from the hips, and then release, let it go. Slide the hands back towards the floor. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, hands float to the shins. Set up your pose and then use your inhale, straighten. Exhale, release. We have 1 more. Inhale all the way up into that half lift. Exhale. This time we'll rise all the way up. So use the strength of the legs to lift the arms all the way up, reach the fingertips, and then exhale, take the hands down through heart center. Pause here in Tadasana, your mountain pose. Noticing if anything stands out to you right now about your pose. Are our shoulders creeping up by our ears? Can we drop them a little bit lower? Do we feel connected to the bottoms of our feet? Maybe rock the weight back and forth to really notice that connection. From here, let's take it into a flow. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, rejoin the palms, and then soften the knees as you fold forward. Head drops down towards the floor. Inhale to lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, release, fold it forward. From here, bring a little bit of weight into your fingertips so you can step your left foot back behind you and then soften the left knee down towards the floor. Walk the hands in line with that right foot and then on to the right thigh to come into a low lunge here. If you're comfortable here, you can take the arms up or just leave them on your right thigh there. I love a low lunge in the morning. I find it's really helpful to get into that front body, start to wake into the hips. So let's just get a little bit more specific here about our pose. Root down through that front heel, our right heel, and then feel as though you've created space to reach the right hip back. Using that to drop down just a little bit more here so you feel an opening through the front of your left hip. Staying here with your breath. Noticing the arms reaching up. Soften in between the shoulders to drop them away from the ears. And then we'll come slowly in towards a side stretch here. So take your right hand, release it down towards the ground, or maybe onto your right hip for a little bit more of that support. And then before we bend over, just think about reaching the left arm a little bit further up towards the ceiling, and then breathing into this left side of our ribcage here. Option to stay here, or you can take it into that side bend. So left finger start to reach over to your right, really accentuating the length on the left side of your body. Right hand is on the hip for support, or if it's reaching down towards the floor, maybe reach just that little bit further. Take your inhale to rise all the way back up, both arms lift. And then exhale, we're going to take this into a nice open twist. So spread the arms wide as you twist over to your right side, drawing both shoulders back in space. Allowing this twist to come from that mid-back area, so the middle part of our spine as we reach over to our right. feeling the arms spreading a little bit wider open, anchoring down through that right heel. Beautiful work. Inhale, sweeps both arms back up, arms rise. Exhale, hands float down towards the floor. And we're gonna step it back into downward facing dog. If you're not feeling down dog this morning, stick with a tabletop pose. So both knees are on the floor. And then find your way into your pose here. And then check in. Notice the difference, right side, left side. Notice where you've started to make some subtle shifts in the body. Preparing for that second side, let's walk our feet up towards our hands, coming back into that forward fold. So many walks as you need here. Slowly drop the head down. We'll take a halfway lift. Float the hands onto the shins, and then use that to lengthen the legs and the spine. Take your exhale to release, fold it forward, and then inhale to rise. Lift all the way back up. Palms touch here. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Reconnecting here. Reminding yourself here, maybe you're just waking up, you're sort of finding this connection to your physical body here, finding your connection to your breath. No rush at all to find it. Take that next breath in, lift the arms up. Exhale, touch the palms and fold forward. Drop the head, soft knees. Take your inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands to floor. Second side here. So right foot steps back behind you, right knee to floor. Making sure the hands are about in line with that left foot, and then take the hands onto the left thigh. If you're comfortable here, maybe reach the arms up. Your choice. Take a few breaths, just finding our low lunge. Once again, enjoying this little bit of stillness here, especially if we're moving into what can be often a very busy day. Sometimes it's nice to just get a moment of stillness, implanting this memory in your mind here. So when things feel really busy, knowing that you have this stillness in you. Making those subtle adjustments here. If you need to move the left hip back a little bit in space, waking up the front of your left thigh or your right thigh a little bit more. Take another breath in, preparing for our side stretch. So drop the left arm down towards the ground, maybe onto the hip here for more support. And then just think about reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling as if you're reaching something just out of your grasp. Use that extra space to breathe into that right side rib cage. And then maybe take it into your side stretch here. Reach right fingers over to the left side of your mat. If the left fingers are reaching down, maybe reach a little bit closer down towards the floor, but no objective here to achieve any particular pose here. We're just creating some space. Take that inhale, rise back up through center, both arms lift, and then our open twist here. So start to twist over to your left and take the arms nice and wide out to the side. Reach through both fingertips, like they're reaching away from each other, and then they're moving back in space, creating a little bit more of that chest opening. Take that next inhale, sweep the arms back up through center, and then exhale, hands to floor, step back, downward facing dog. Option, once again, tabletop pose. From your down dog, take that moment to pause there. Bring weight into the heels. And then as you inhale, slowly walk the feet towards the hands, come into that forward fold. Making sure the feet are about hip distance apart here so you have some space. And then soft knees, drop head. As you inhale, float the hands to the shins, lift halfway, lengthen. And then exhale, release, folds forward. As you inhale, rise all the way back up. Exhale, palms touch, hands towards the heart, pause there. From here, we'll just take one nice and slow sun A just to get a little bit of that back bend quality before we make our way down towards the floor. As you inhale, rise the arms up. Exhale, join the palms, maybe look up, stretch a little taller, and then exhale, fold forward. Maybe checking in here and noticing how much more pliable the body feels in your forward fold from when you started. As you inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands to floor. Step one foot back and then the other into your plank. Option to drop the knees right away, or if you feel like you can keep them lifted, stay there just for a moment in your plank pose, noticing the strength that you have. Take another breath in. You've got this. Exhale, knees to floor, and then bend the elbows tight by the sides, lower all the way down. Rolling the shoulders onto the back body here. Untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet down, and then no weight in the hands, just lift up into a baby cobra here. Keeping the elbows hugging in, shoulders drawing back. Exhale, release. Bring the forehead to floor. This time we'll press the weight into the hands. So roll the shoulders up and back, squeeze the elbows in, rise up as high as you like here into your cobra pose. Keep the feet anchoring you down towards the floor. Feel the chest opening. As you exhale, rise or lower all the way back down towards the floor. Untuck the toes here, press up to the knees, and then downward facing dog. Hips lift up and back. Take a full breath here. Exhale. And then from here, knees to floor, sink back into a child's pose just for a moment. Getting into that counter pose action here. Drop the head in between the arms. Take another breath in. Exhale, soften. And then from here, crawl your way back up. And then we're going to flip it over to lie back down on the back here. So making your way to lie down onto your mat. Preparing for bridge pose here. So a little bit more of that chest opening quality. Our knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Heels are relatively close to our sitting bones here. And we're not going to come into our deepest bridge, just getting a little bit of that back bend. So arms are by the sides, and you can even go palms face up, just so you're not using your arms as much here. And then when you're ready, connect to the soles of the feet. Feel like you're tapping into that connection to your energy. And then slowly peel the back body off the floor, lifting the hips as high up as is comfortable for you. So when you start to feel activity through that back line of the body, but we're not forcing our pose. Not our deepest bridge ever, just getting that engagement into our back body after that opening in the front body in our lunges. Take another breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Hips back down, and then walk the feet a little bit wider here, and then gentle sway of the knees side to side. So we're not fully windshield wipering the legs, just getting that movement into our lower back here. Bring the knees back through center, feet to floor, and then hug both knees into the chest. Gently wrap the arms around the legs. And then from here, we'll come into that twist. So take both knees, drop them over to your left. Arms can come out wide or into a cactus pose. This is another chance to use your blanket for support, maybe underneath the legs or even between the legs to prop them up if that makes sense for your body. Keeping that smooth inhale and exhale. Returning to that sense of stillness that you have within you. If you're practicing here at the beginning of the day, noticing how you'd like to start the rest of your day here. Take that next breath in, slowly draw the knees back through center, and then drop them over to your second side. Make any adjustments of your pose. Maybe the knees come a little bit higher or lower. See if you can drop back in right away to the sense of softening, giving yourself just a few more moments of peace here, a few more moments of stillness. Take that next breath in, slowly draw the knees back through center. Arms will make their way down by the sides, and then extend one leg and then the other, making your way into your final pose here, your Shavasana. So as you extend the legs long, you can take them as wide as your mat here, walking the shoulders a little bit further onto the back body here. Really setting yourself up for just these last few moments here that are just for you. When you're ready, maybe closing down the eyes, enjoying a moment here in Shavasana. If you have more time, feel free to stay longer. But if it's time to move into your day, start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement back towards fingers and toes. Circle wrists, circle ankles. Move the head gently side to side. Bring movement into any of those areas that could use a little bit more of that energy. When you're ready, lift the arms, reach up and overhead. Get a great big morning stretch here. Point through the toes, reach the arms. And then exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Just like we started here. When you're ready, rolling over onto one side. Maybe that's your left side. And then slowly pressing yourself up. We'll close off here all together in a seated pose, just crossing one leg in front of the other. Creating that nice tall spine here. Draw the shoulders down the back body. Closing off our practice here. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, palms touch. Bring the hands towards the heart. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today. Giving yourself this time here that's just for you. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.